What is happening, Internet? How the heck you guys doing? So yeah, we finally found out the slate of DC movies thanks to James Gunn, and personally, I have a wait-and-see attitude toward this slate. Why? Because we've been through this song and dance before. Things change. Sometimes movies don't end up coming out, like Nightwing, or Cyborg and the Titans, or Justice League Part 2, Justice League Part 3, Man of Steel 2. You see where I'm going with this. Promises, promises, promises. Now, every time, I do say that DC wows us with their slate. And it's a great-looking slate. But part of me is just like, is all of this actually going to happen? What happens as soon as some of these story-driven, interconnected movies stop turning a profit? Warner Brothers isn't Disney. They can't take the hit financially and release flop after flop. Disney can. Marvel can. And James Gunn is in that Marvel mindset, which I think it's a great idea what he's doing. I applaud the idea of having the same Batman appear in Batman and Robin, be the voice of Batman in a video game or an animated movie, and to continue to, branch out different stories into their bigger gods and monsters thing or whatever their next chapter is. I think it's important for the actor who portrays the Batman or whoever ends up playing Batman in that interconnected universe for the next 10 years. Totally get that. Will it work, though? I don't know. Especially, let's say Superman Legacy, which is the start of a brand new universe, makes less money than the Man of Steel or BVS. What happens then? He's basically the leaping off point for this new universe, and everything that happens in Superman Legacy will tie into Batman and Robin, will tie into Swamp Thing, tie into Green Lantern. It's all going to be part of this overarching arc. Like, if you were to do the special team-up in a Batman story, let's say something that led to Final Crisis. It involved the Batman books, the Superman books, Aquaman, Green Lantern, Flash, New Gods, whatever. It all was part of the same massive storyline, but you had to get, all these different issues to get the complete thing until it was added into a graphic novel. The same type of thing is happening now with the DC Studio stuff. Small little bits and pieces that you can't really remove, but you'll need to see in order to get the whole picture. That's the Marvel method. And I really wish DC the best, but that's exactly what Zack Snyder was going to do with his stuff all those years ago. Cyborg movie, Flash movie, Green Lantern stuff. All of it was going to be interconnected, leading to Justice League Parts 2 and 3, and it never happened. And my Nightwing movie never happened, which I really, really, really wanted, and kept finding information about that film for so many years until it just dropped off the face of the earth. Which leads us to the now. A new Batman actor is going to come. He's probably going to be in his 40s. He can't be the same age as Matt Reeves, the Batman, Robert Pattinson, because it doesn't make sense for Robert Pattinson to have a son the same age as Robin. This also leads to the idea that maybe Dick Grayson isn't going to show up as Robin at all in the Batman Elseworlds universe, and Robert Pattinson's Batman will be a solo act, because the DC Shared Universe Batman will have a son and already established Bat family members, which, again, I applaud this idea. I think it's fantastic. I'm on board for it, for now. So, I don't know who they're going to cast to play Bruce Wayne. Maybe John Hamm is still an option. Maybe Chris Pratt is an option. Sorry, I went there. I don't know. I don't really know actors. I don't really care. Hey, let's get Henry Cavill to play Batman. He joked about it in the past. He's much younger than Ben Affleck was, and he could play a pretty big, imposing Batman. I think he would do great. I definitely think that Batman has to be a little bit older. Now, he doesn't have to be in his 50s. We don't want a Batman that's been active for 20-something years. He could have had a young sidekick, Dick Grayson, who was we'll say 12, and then he ended up meeting with Talia maybe 6 or 7 years later, and Damian is only about 8 years old or something. I could see that as being something very believable. But what I like about what they're doing with Batman and Robin is we are getting a biological son of Bruce Wayne. Now, what could this mean? Well, if they're planning on getting rid of Batman in 10 years or maybe 15 years, then they have a character who will grow into the role as Robin and can easily transition into the cowl of Batman, which we kind of saw in the MCU with Falcon and Captain America. Falcon was, Cap's sidekick. He was there with him ever since the second Captain America movie. And then at the end of the Avengers final film with Cap, of course, we got to see what happened when Sam took over the role of Captain America. Same thing could apply with Damian. He starts out as Robin, and we see the character grow up before our eyes, and then something happens to Bruce Wayne, and Damian has to step up because Dick Grayson doesn't want to be Batman. That would be something very interesting to see, and it's never been done in the theaters before. Not that I can think of. Even in the animated universe, we never had Damian become Batman. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that's kind of the whole point why Morrison made Damian Batman's son, is so that the cape and cowl being Batman would be Damian's legacy. More so than Dick Grayson. Although, the idea of Dick becoming Batman is always something I really like too, because Morrison handled that expertly. I mean, the Morrison run of Batman and Robin pre-52 was one of my favorite comic runs for the dynamic duo, because it turned the dynamic on its head. You had Grumpy Robin, and you had Happy Batman. And it was a really fun read. It's back when comics were really fun. So the great thing that I like about this whole Batman and Robin thing is how we are going to meet other family members in the Bat family. Most likely Dick Grayson will show up, because if they're going with the whole murderous Damian thing, I would think that Dick Grayson would be the big character that you want to have more than Tim Drake. Tim Drake is failing in comics right now. He's not really hitting his stride. He's not picking up the new audience that people wanted. And again, he's proving himself to be an inferior Robin because people just don't know how to utilize the character very well, which is very sad, but I mean, it's kind of the curse of Tim Drake. When Tim Drake does not have a good writing team, does not have good stories, does not have good side characters, then Tim Drake becomes a very obscure character. What I don't want them to do is ignore Jason Todd, because Jason Todd is a very interesting character. His death was a big toll on Batman's, mind, and also it played into a much bigger role for Jason in the future. So what I would really like to see in Batman and Robin is, yes, the establishment of the Bat family, but I want the Bat family to be small to begin with. I also want there to be a tragedy that the Bat family suffered, and that has to be the death of Jason Todd. Because if Damian has this living brother who was the high benchmark for what Robin was, and then he has another tier where there's a Robin who died, who was very impulsive, and Batman can kind of snap back to that kind of stuff and be like, Jason was going this route, and you know what happened to Jason. It's like we need that little Jason piece that will make a bigger picture for the Bat family going on, because there's nothing cooler than a fallen son coming back as a villain. That is a great story dynamic that works so well in the Batman universe that's already filled with so much tragedy. So I really, 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 really want there to be some type of mention of Jason Todd. Even a small subtext, like Damian and Nightwing are training in the Batcave or fighting, and, somebody gets knocked into Robin's old costume, and it's not Dick Grayson's, it's Jason's costume. And then that's what makes the fight stop. And then just a nice little shot of the plaque on the Robin costume, Jason Todd. That's all you would need to know, and fans would just go ballistic because the seeds have been sown. You know what I mean? Just that would be chef's kiss. Perfect. What I want also from the Batman Brave and the Bold movie with Batman and Robin is I want to see the League of Assassins again, but more importantly, I want Talia to have a bigger role. They can hint at an overarching thing with Ra's al Ghul in the background. I think it would be a bad idea to focus on Ra's al Ghul because you can tie it to other aspects of Batman's mythos, like being responsible for Jason's death. Paying the Joker to do stuff. That'd be pretty dope, I think. But definitely want to see the perspective of the film to be on Damian as opposed to Batman, because Batman as a side character in the Batman and Robin movie would work very well to have the audience get to know Robin, because we have the Batman, Matt Reeves' Elseworld storyline where the general focus, the whole point of the movie is around Batman's point of view. Bruce Wayne and Batman. Having a DC shared universe Batman is very important, but if you're going to bring Robin into the film, I believe that he should be the focus of the Batman Brave and the Bold film. Like, Batman is a very key character, and he's going to have, like, a huge role to play overall in this Gods and Monsters storyline, according to what James Gunn has been crafting, especially using Grant Morrison as an example of that. Because Grant Morrison wrote both Superman and Batman, so it would make sense for these two characters to be very prominent. But I just think that from a unique perspective, that having Damian be that focal point for that Batman movie, and maybe have Damian show up in a Titans movie, or, you know, meet other junior heroes going forward, I think that would be really neat. Now, I don't know what the story is going to be about, because there's no plot synopsis about what we can expect other than James Gunn saying that Damian's going to be a little brat, and, you know, he's an assassin, and Batman's having a difficult time, you know, raising this kid and trying to put him on the right path, and how he'll interact with Bat family members. We don't know what the villain of the movie is going to be. We don't know if Talia is going to be involved. All we can expect is based on things that happened with the Grant Morrison Robin. One thing I don't want to see, but I'm sure James Gunn will do, is the decapitation of that criminal by Damian, and then bringing it back to his father, like how a cat will kill a mouse and then, you know, lays it at its master's feet. Like, I don't think that would work very well in the movie, unless they're going to do like an R-rated thing. That'd be a little bit too extreme. But I also want to see a lighthearted aspect of Batman and Robin as well, because, you know, you have this kid running around in a colorful costume and you got Batman next to him. But again, I can't stress how important it is that this is Damian, because I don't want it to be Dick Grayson, because it's going to limit a lot of other characters that fans have been waiting a very long time to see. No offense to Dick Grayson, but we saw him in the Joel Schumacher movies, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. And even though he was supposed to be Nightwing in the fourth movie, they didn't really do that. They had him stay Robin because they wanted to name Batman and Robin, even though Robin was still a side character and had hardly any development compared to what fans thought they were going to be. They just fast-forwarded through all the development of Robin's character. Yeah, having Dick Grayson be the Robin wouldn't work, because fans want to see him be Nightwing. And this leads to another thing. I was thinking about this. The reason why Titans probably was canceled is because they were going to introduce Tim Drake as Robin, and they were going to introduce more of Nightwing's story in the Titans, according to what their Season 5 synopsis was. And, well, to have Nightwing and Robin running around on HBO Max, even though it could have worked as an Elseworld storyline, I think they really want to bring a lot of these popular Batman characters like Robin and Nightwing to the silver screen, and then eventually you could see Nightwing and Robin pop up on an HBO series or something else, maybe in a video game, or, you know, the sky's the limit. But I think that's kind of why Titans ended, and the same thing with Doom Patrol. So, I mean, as much as it pains me to say goodbye to some of that stuff, it does kind of make sense that those things would be going away. Characters I would like to see appear in the Batman and Robin Brave and the Bold movie as a villain. I think maybe Scarecrow would be kind of cool, or the Mad Hatter, maybe Man-Bat, something that hasn't been done before, because if they bring in Man-Bat, then you could kind of lead to Talia getting the DNA of the Man-Bat, and then you could have the Man-Bat ninjas like later on, which was also part of the Grant Morrison run. So, I mean, I would like them to be very Grant Morrison focused on the villains, because it just works with that character of Damian. But anyway, this was just a fun little video. Again, I have no insider information about this because DC is tighter than Fort Knox right now. It just got me thinking about like things that they could do with the character, and what they could do with Robin and Batman, and you know, the actor who could play him. I would really like to see John Hamm do it, but he might be too old. Chris Pratt would probably be a very bad idea, much better fit for Booster Gold. But I would definitely want Batman to be at least 40, I think. Probably 39, 40 years old. Maybe a little older than that. But anyway, now I want to hear from all of you guys and gals. How do you feel like the Batman and Robin movie will go? Do you have any ideas? Do you have a certain villain you want to see? Do you want them to just basically do the animated movie from years ago, like The Son of Batman? Or you want them to incorporate some new ideas? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll be talking about some new Flash rumors in the next day or so, such as them changing the ending and some other stuff, yeeting Sasha Kaye and Michael Keaton from the ending of the movie. We're going to really discuss that because it's going to completely change everything and really make Flash that full-blown reboot that they're talking about. But anyway, people, thanks so much for watching. Keep it locked here for more Batman-related stuff in movies, TV, video games, and occasionally comics when they don't suck. Have a great rest of your day, and if you want something else to watch, I'm streaming a brand new game over on my channel, K-Wings Let's Plays, at 5:30 today. Bye-byes!